All right.
Go.
Welcome back to the How Was Your Weekend podcast.
This is either going to be the best episode or at least the funniest.
It'll hopefully be the funniest. So it is our 21st episode.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's a big milestone.
We're officially legal.
So for anybody watching, we brought some Prosecco today.
Mhm.
Prosecco and juice, and it's a 1928. Can you pronounce that for me?
What? Can't even read that.
That is a very difficult font.
Yeah. Cavichu. Yeah. Prosecco.
Wow. Okay, for anyone working in marketing or branding, make sure that your font is legible. I have no idea what that says, but it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
And we brought some juice.
So in honor of our 21st, we're having a mimosa while we chat.
This is our first beverage on air.
Outside of the usual
Yeah.
coffee and water.
Yes.
I usually spike my coffee, so
Do
I'm
you?
always drunk.
You have some Baileys in there? I should start doing that. It's a great idea. We usually do Monday mornings. That's just a great way to start
It's
the week.
it's pretty common.
I was telling you right before this that I've had a lot of meetings this morning.
Right.
And I felt my brain's a little fuzzy.
Sure.
So this should hopefully do the trick.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'll take your mic. Good luck. I know, I'm scared. Whee!
I was pretty scared that it was going to go all over the carpet.
I was too, because it's been rolling around my car for the last couple hours.
Okay, so we're good.
Sweet.
We got my mic back.
Okay.
How much would you like?
Let's go up to the
Tell me when to stop.
stop there.
Okay. What would you say is the perfect ratio for champagne to orange juice?
I actually don't know. And I feel like I'm so weak when I pour alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a heavy pour. You know how you go to some place and they've got a heavy pour.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Oh. Yeah, I've seen some videos and it's like the perfect perfect ratio. And it's like all champagne and then like the tiniest little drop of orange juice.
Yeah. Like we actually hosted at Jessica's house. See, like you're doing way more than I did.
That's probably too much.
No, it's great.
I have to talk on stage later, so this will be my little bit of liquid courage.
But I remember like pouring people mimosas and I feel like I was getting looks like, is that it? Is that all she's doing? Yeah. So, okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy 21st episode.
Happy 21st.
Let's see.
Moment of truth. That's great.
It's good.
Got the mango orange juice.
Yeah. Cheeks are going to be numb by the end of this episode. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Are we finishing the bottle within this episode?
I'll actually die.
Okay, so in honor of our 21st, I prepared some questions
Oh my gosh, I love
you.
So on top of things. I feel like I need to bring some more to the table.
That's what I'm here for. All right. They're all alcohol related questions.
Great. Awesome.
Okay. First one. If you had to pick just one of these things, and that's the only category of beverages you can drink for the rest of your life.
Okay.
What would you choose? Beer, wine, seltzers, ciders, or cocktails?
So within those, I get to pick, if I say
wine. Yeah.
If I say wine, okay, I would go wine.
You don't have to pick just one winery and one type.
Don't know if this officially makes me 40, but I am all about the red and white wines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Red and white.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two big categories. Are there specifics within those that you like? Like, what's your favorite red?
Okay, so I am a big Cab fan.
Okay.
So
Cab Sauv?
Cab Sauv or Cab Franc. And then white, I like a good crisp, Pinot Gris.
Okay.
So
how about a Sauv Blanc?
Yeah, it can be. Sometimes those can get a little buttery for me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Chardonnays
can be that. Yeah, I'm seasonal. I like a crisp white when it's warm.
Right.
And then I like a good red every other time.
Yeah. Do you pair wine with food?
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
I often don't drink with meals in general, whether it's alcoholic or not.
Yeah.
I don't really like liquids when I'm eating. So that's kind of a weird thing, but I like to either have my drink after dinner, eat my food and then have a glass of wine.
Nightcap.
Yeah. Or as we're hanging out before dinner, have a glass of wine.
Okay.
So
not with if you're eating a good steak, you're not gonna do a pour red.
Listen, maybe I'm choosing the wrong ones, but I always feel like my food changes my palate when I go to drink. It's like I'll be sipping the wine, and my food comes, and I'll eat, and then I'll sip, and I'll be like, oh, it's different now.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
There's
somebody that could explain that. I have a lot of friends that are wine connoisseurs, wine snobs, whatever you want to call them, and they know a lot about wine. I don't. What I know about wine is I love the activity of wine tasting.
Me too.
So fun going to Woodinville or Chelan, or I've never been in Napa, but Napa would be fun.
Yes.
And just going winery hopping and trying a little sample at each one. Like that's my favorite. That's why I like wine, is for that activity.
I'm telling you what, and I know I've shared that before, that I love a good wine tasting. I would love to work at a vineyard and be the hostess who's like, here's an approachable red from the south of France. Like, just use the.
You just make stuff up.
Yeah, it's aged in our oak barrel, so you'll taste that. No,
the tannins. It's very oaky and a little earthy.
No, I went to one tasting and the guy said it's a very approachable. It was actually whiskey or something. He's like, it's a very approachable taste. And I was like, I will forever say this is an approachable beverage.
Yeah.
But so here's what I love is, number one, you're just kind of schmoozing with people, so you're just like, how's your day? What brings you in? Everybody's there for a good time. Also, they're open from like 11 to 5.
Yeah.
You're not late night bar hopping till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You're like still home in time for dinner and a good show.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay. What would be your choice?
One more follow up there. We should go wine tasting sometime. Yeah. I don't think we've done that.
Okay. Let's do it. Because you guys have a couple memberships, don't you?
Brian has 2, Patterson and Lake Chelan Winery or something, but yeah, it's great. Love it.
Okay,
so if I were to choose one of those categories, I'd probably choose cocktails. There's definitely some variety within there.
Sure.
Yeah, I like cocktails. I like.
Do you have a go-to? You're out and you're like,
I'm a big tequila guy.
Are you?
So if I'm like, my go-to order at a bar will be tequila soda with a little bit of pineapple juice.
Okay.
That's one of my go-tos. Yeah. I love margarita, which is kind of the same vibe.
Yeah.
I also love when cocktails have egg whites in them. Have you ever had that?
I can't say that I have.
Okay. If you ever see a cocktail menu that has egg white on it, it's amazing. It sounds weird. I promise you. Do you like eggs?
Here's the thing.
And that's not the wrong question to ask. You don't need to like eggs to like this.
Just the fact that like I'm already not the biggest egg fan, and then you're like, by the way, it's gonna be raw and it's gonna be the egg white part. Like,
it's the egg. It's like a foam. It's like it turns into a foam. Okay, when we go to a restaurant together, I will order one and you can have a sip.
I'll take it. I will try it. I won't order it like just straight out. Yeah.
Okay. What if I Venmo you for it?
Okay, if you're gonna pay me for it, fine.
I want you to experience it because they're great. I was also skeptical at first.
I know. I can't even imagine. Like,
it's great. It just adds this like a little bit of foaminess to the drink, a little bit of creaminess.
The creaminess I can buy into. It's the foam that's throwing me.
Okay.
I'm like, what?
It's one of those things you have to try.
Okay. My friend Shannon really likes to order like spicy drinks. Like, do you like a spicy margarita?
I do sometimes. I don't like mezcal. Do you like mezcal?
No. I'm probably tequila is one of my least explored or favorite.
Okay.
Of the liquors. Okay. I don't know what it is. But it's just I don't know. Every once in a while I'll have something I'm like, oh, I actually don't mind this, and it has tequila in it. But it's not my go-to. Like, I'm more of a gin or vodka.
That's my next question is what
gin
is your
vodka?
Go-to liquor?
Pick one. It's not mezcal. Okay. It's not.
I don't like mezcal either. I do not like the smokiness of it. Brian is a big mezcal fan. I'm not.
It's so interesting how people like really like their.
Yeah.
I'm also not a beer fan. Like, I went bowling over the weekend, and it was with a bunch of moms, and they're like, should we get a couple pitchers of beer? I was like, should we? I don't know. I'm like, who are we? But
that's funny. You went bowling and you got pitchers of beer?
Well, no, I got a White Claw.
Oh, but that's what happened. That was the same exact thing in my friend group. My friends went bowling on Saturday night and they ordered pitchers of beer. Because that's what you do at the bowling alley.
That's what you do. And I get it. And I part of me kind of wishes I did, because I feel like it's everywhere, and it just is like really easy to be like, let's share a pitcher of beer.
Yeah. It's romanticized a little bit. Like,
yeah. I'm like jealous of people that enjoy it.
I agree. I do not like beer all that much. I drank a good amount of beer in college, and because that's what one does in college.
Sure.
And I think I had too much bad beer that maybe it ruined it for me a little bit. But I don't like beer, and I'm actually okay with that, because beer is so like high calorie and heavy, and it's like I'm kind of okay not liking it. Yeah. But there are occasionally will someone will order like an IPA and they're like enjoying it so much. I'm like, I wish I enjoyed that. But
right.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also have found that my palate is changing a little bit as I get older. Mm-hmm. I definitely like things to be less sweet now than I used to.
100%.
Yeah.
I used to drink. So first off, when I first started dating Chad, he was not a drinker at all, because he was, training for his sports profession. That was not in his like life. And so I didn't drink much. And my parents, when I grew up, they didn't have alcohol in the house. So I just was not exposed to much.
Yeah.
So I was like I would dip my toe in the drinking world. I was never like super crazy. And when we were married, like we would every once in a while host people and we'd have some wine or something. And it was like, I bet if we were to go taste it, it'd be disgusting. Like sugary, sweet.
Yeah.
Like just
like a sweet Riesling kind of thing.
Yes. Moscato, you know, like
that's what
sugary.
when I was introduced to wine, that's how I love wine, is like as sweet as possible.
Yeah.
I will say I went to a restaurant in Whistler a couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
And we had a dessert wine at the end of the meal.
Okay,
and it was very sweet, but it was like a kind of a perfect way to end the meal.
I remember because I had a friend who worked at a winery and she gave us a little something and it almost had like a honey.
Okay. Maybe like a port or something.
To it, and it was so good. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a time and a place.
There's a time and a place.
Okay. Couple more wine or alcohol questions. What'd you do for your 21st birthday?
Oh, so I was in college and my parents actually came and surprised me.
Nice.
And I remember going out. I remember having
You were in Santa Barbara?
I was in Santa Barbara. I went to Westmont. I remember going to like dinner and my parents surprised me there. And then I feel like I went out afterwards with friends.
Nice.
But I don't remember too much aside from like they surprised me to come to dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we did like same exact thing. So I went to dinner with my family. My cousin, grandparents were there. Went to Cheesecake Factory.
Love
the Cheesecake Factory. I just went there this weekend for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
I was looking through my wallet and like just looking through gift cards that I have that I haven't used. And I'm like, oh, I have a Cheesecake Factory gift card. And we went and found apparently they have a good happy hour from like 4 to 6 on weekdays. They have a great happy hour. A bunch of stuff is under $10. And yeah, I just went and had a little nice dinner before.
Were you by yourself?
With Brian.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
I do enjoy going to restaurants by myself though. I really do.
I could not.
You just be chatting up with a waiter.
I would just be, do you want to sit? Do you want to actually join me?
Anyway, yeah. So we went to Cheesecake Factory and then I went out with friends afterwards. And at UW, they called it a 21 run. Okay. Is that a universal thing? Or is that
I've never heard of it.
Okay. So that might be, I feel like I've heard people from other colleges talk about, I don't know. Yeah. But at UW, that was a big thing. It's on your 21st birthday, the night of, you go out and you cruise all the bars on the Ave next to UW. And that's what I did.
Okay.
Great.
Do you remember it?
I remember going out. Yeah. I remember leaving the house for sure.
You're like, I was not at home.
Preparing for this, I was looking through my pictures from my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
And there was a pretty funny picture of
I love it.
me toward the end of the night. So we won't share that on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. But those videos crack me up. It's like people at a wedding and they're like, this is my first drink.
I love that.
And they're like, this is my
we check in. This is our first mimosa of the podcast. Yeah. This is how we're doing.
I'm also a very slow drinker, just so you know. Whether it's anything. Like if I'm drinking coffee, water, anything, beverage, I'm very slow.
I'm jealous of that.
I don't know.
I'm a fast drinker and eater. Are you a slow eater as well?
I think I'm just average with that. I don't feel like I'm either way.
If I go to a restaurant, I'm typically the first person to finish my food.
Oh, really?
It's funny, actually. Brian and I are both very fast eaters.
Yeah.
And we'll get to a restaurant, sit down, immediately scan the menu, immediately figure out what we're getting, order right away. We're in and out in like less than 30 minutes. And we'll see people at nearby tables and they're just like haven't even ordered yet. Or they're
just getting started.
Yeah. And every time that happens, we're like, we really need to slow down and savor it. But there's only so much you can talk about after 8 years. So.
I hear you on that. Chad used to be the slowest in his family and at boarding school, and like people would tease him because he was so slow. He also eats very meticulously. So
I can see that.
If you watch him, he'll have a plate. We'll order the same, it'll be steak and like salad and some, maybe another side. And he will make sure that everything is evenly portioned per bite.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to watch, like how he can calculate how much steak he'll have to ration to make sure there's enough left.
No, you got to create the perfect bite.
You do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could be eating the same thing and I'm like, yours looks so much better than mine. It's weird.
My uncle Danny, I remember growing up, we'd order like pizza or something.
Yeah.
And the way that he just ate with so much enjoyment of the food. And I was always so jealous of that. Like when he was eating, I'm like, we're eating the same thing. We're eating the same thing.
Right.
But like you are like
would he like vocalize it? Like would he be like,
it was just the noises and like the faces and which I think I have adapted that a little bit. So Lewis, who's helping us start the restaurant, he's told us the other day, he's like, I love cooking for you guys.
Oh,
because we're like, we are such appreciative and like vocal eaters, not like chewing with our mouths full necessary or whatever. Open, but which I wouldn't put that past me either. But just like, if I'm like eating something good, like I'm like, that's good stuff.
Right. Yeah, he did those fries for us a couple weeks ago. Those were phenomenal.
Yeah, fries.
I waited too late yesterday. I didn't get a sandwich.
Sorry.
And I was really bummed because I was looking around and like, oh, it's going to be delicious.
There will be more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 burgers.
You ate mine.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Okay, last alcohol question. How hard would it be for you to cut out alcohol entirely?
Okay, actually, I'm really glad you brought this up because it was almost a contention in our marriage recently of like, I don't know about this. So Chad, after we went to Vegas in October, came back, was like, I'm not going to drink for a little bit. I'm like, understandable. We went hard in Vegas.
Detox.
Yeah. And like I said, he wasn't a big drinker when we first started dating. There's been times where he was, would drink more consistently and then would always complain. And he's so concerned about his sleep. And he's like, I never sleep well when I drink. So I'm like, okay, deal with it. Like, suck it up. No, just kidding.
Nobody does.
I know. But so then we just got to this point where I was noticing, like, I would open a bottle of wine and I would pour a glass. Like, do you want something? He'd be like, oh, no, thanks. Yeah. And like, it was my birthday. It was other things. And he wasn't drinking. He was like making mocktails. Like he would have like sparkling water with lime. So it looked like something. Yeah. But I was like in my mind, like, you're not.
So you think you're better than me? Is that what you're thinking?
That's my, Unfortunately, that's like my assumption for all of his health choices. Yeah. It's not because he's trying to like be healthy. It's because he thinks he's better than me. Yeah. That's my inner dialogue. And he knows it. It's fine. But so then we were actually traveling. We're at a friend's cabin and I was like, I kind of threw a fit because I was going to open some wine and he was like, yeah, no. And I was like, so you're just never going to drink again? And he was like, I don't know. And the fact that I was like, I just couldn't imagine never having like a glass of wine with him or having friends over and him never cracking beer. Like I, as like silly as it sounds, I felt like he was like ruining part of our social life. Yeah. So if that goes to tell you anything, I'm like, and for him, he was like, I don't, I don't enjoy it enough to like make my sleep compromised over it, And I'm like, I just don't think you're trying hard enough. I feel like you're not giving it a good effort.
Drink some electrolytes before bed, a little Pedialyte, you're good.
Take some melatonin and call it a day. So for me, I want to say, it'd be no problem. But I really enjoy a good glass of wine. Yeah. And I feel like it was Jesus's first miracle. Yeah. So I'm like, it's biblical.
It's 100% biblical. That's a great answer.
That's my go-to reasoning. Jesus did it. Yeah. So, yeah.
I wonder if how the wine in Jesus's times compared to today's wine.
Right.
Like flavor-wise, alcohol percentage-wise, like what are we... is it equivalent or were they completely different?
No.
Can we ask somebody?
I would love to.
Let's get an expert on here who's studied the history of wine over the last 2,500 years.
I mean, yeah. Who knows? Probably with technology, we've done weird altercations to it that it's like probably was better. It's more organic or something.
I bet you couldn't order a Petit Verdot Sauv Blanc.
Probably not.
0 AD.
From the Oregon Valley.
From the Willamette Valley.
Yeah.
I don't even know if what I just said is a real thing.
That sounded really good.
Thank you.
I was like,
I just strung some words together. I do think I'd enjoy working at a winery, even though I'm not a big wine. Like, I don't know anything about wine. I actually don't love wine. If we're going to go back to wine for a second, I don't love wine. I love the activity of wine tasting.
Do you remember your challenge?
Yeah.
Drink wine every day.
I do remember that. And there were none that I was like, oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Really?
None of the 31 wines I tried.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's shocking.
So.
Reverse back to you.
Yeah.
Could you cut it out?
I could, I think. Yeah. I think I would do what Chad was doing and make mocktails and like come up with or find other, because I don't, if I'm at a bar with friends and everyone's ordering a drink, I don't want to order some water. Like I think I'd have to figure out some other, like whether it's a ginger beer and soda or I don't know, some other alternative so that because a lot of it I think is placebo. Like if you're around people that are drinking, like you can feed off their energy. I don't plan on cutting out alcohol, but I think that I could. I've done a few months. I did the month I did the Ironman, I cut out alcohol, and then I did 75 hard, so I cut out alcohol for that period of time. And each time I thought I would miss it, but I ended up not really missing it. So, but at the same time, I don't drink that much as is anyway. So I feel like I already have moderation with alcohol. So I'm like, I might as well just keep that same level there.
I feel like we actually don't drink much at home especially because for us, it's usually wine. And it's like, if we're going to open a bottle of wine and have a glass or two between us, like it feels like, okay, then we're going to save the bottle and finish more the next day. We likely won't. So it sits on our counter and we toss it. So we really don't have too much. It's more when I'm out with friends. And it's definitely kicks up in the summertime. There's something to be said about being out in the sun and having a drink in my hand that just feels like it goes hand in hand. Like I can't do one without the other.
Wine in
That's
hand.
Probably not great.
Hey, I think everything in moderation.
I'm never like crazy about it. I'm never like, oh, I blacked out because I drank so much.
Never.
So. Can't say the last. I couldn't tell you, except when we were in Vegas, we drink a lot, but it wasn't like I couldn't tell you a time where I actually blacked out. Like I got so
in your entire life.
In my entire life,
that's really impressive. I can't say the same.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
that's great. Blacking out's not good. Not a good thing. Not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in college, it's like there's a blackout culture that exists.
I went to a private college. It was dry campus. It was it was not, it wasn't promoted there at all. I mean, you could go off and find parties and stuff, but that wasn't my thing.
Were fake IDs a thing? Did people,
I'm sure, but I was not.
You weren't part of that.
I was law abiding. I was not in there until I was 21.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, but it's so funny that 21 is the age in the United States versus other countries where it's like 18 or 19, or it's hilarious to me that you can serve in the military here, you can buy cigarettes here, you can any other nicotine products are fine to buy at 18, but you have to wait till you're 21 to drink alcohol. Like it's so bonkers to me. Anyway, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. So we actually had a really long weekend. I don't know if you guys
President's Day weekend.
So my kids were out of school on Friday.
Oh, you had a 4-day.
So we had a 4-day. Yep. Some people had like yesterday. Somebody yesterday was like, I have the whole week off. I'm like, what is happening?
Is this like the midwinter break? Is that a thing? Or spring? No, spring break.
It's not spring break. Okay. Because that's for us the first week of April.
I think in elementary school I had like a midwinter week-long break.
Yeah. I think some school districts are still doing that. For us, we had Friday and Monday off. And so Thursday was like our Friday.
Yeah.
And Allie, we hosted a couple of her friends and did like a sleepover till Friday.
Okay.
Friday, they called it home learning day. So it's like you still have schoolwork, which feels unfair. It's like, if you're going to give us the day off, just give us the day off. But they send packets home of schoolwork that you have to do.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And one thing I did want to talk about is the level of schoolwork that these children receive.
A lot.
And it's also like, I'm so far removed from elementary math that they're like trying to get us to do something. And I'm like, I am useless.
I think homework is ridiculous.
I know.
Personally, like if I were to, I really know nothing about any of this, but like from a strictly outsider point of view, if you're in school from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., that's 7 hours. That's almost a full workday.
Oh, yeah.
Like that should be it.
Yes.
Like our kids should have the late afternoons and evenings to like do sports or do, extracurricular activities or hang out with their family. Like I don't get homework. I don't understand. I don't get it.
You're not alone in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and there's some schools here that don't do homework. Ours is not one of them.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm noticing the older my kids get, the more I'm less able to help them with homework. I'm like, yikes.
My mom and I got in big, so I was a good kid. I was good at two shoes, you know?
Yeah.
And my mom and I, like the things that we would fight about would be I was staying up too late to do homework. Mm-hmm. Like she's like, you need to go to bed. You need your sleep. I'm like, I'm literally doing homework right now. Like I have to do this. And that created like tension in our relationship because I needed my sleep. That was important, but then I also need to do my homework. So it was like, there's not, nobody's winning in that situation.
Right. Do you remember how old you were when that was the case?
I would say probably 7th and 8th grade is when it started getting that way.
Well, this was me last night, like exactly to a T. I come home, we had gone out to a trivia night. And so we get back and Allie had stayed at home. She's in 7th grade and she had started homework at 4 in the afternoon. I got back at 8:15 and she's still at her computer.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, wait, you're still working? And I actually was like, she's gotten distracted. She's done other things like blah, blah, blah. And it is because to me, what happens, I know my children well that if they don't get a good night's sleep, the morning is horrendous.
Yeah.
Like it is stressful. Everybody's crying and
Yeah.
yelling. And
So I'm the same way if I don't get a good night's sleep. It's universal. Everybody needs their sleep.
The board. So I was just like, and she still had to shower and clean up and do stuff. So I'm like, this whole thing. But in her mind, she's like, she's doing the school, like she's doing what she should be.
Yeah.
She wasn't watching a show.
Right.
The worst part was I like come home and I'm like, what? You're still working and you still have to do the, and then I just hear her go, okay, well, bye, Faith. Like she was FaceTiming a friend, and I like came in and was like, what's happening? I was like, oh,
that is so funny.
I was like so embarrassed for her. But yeah, so back to that home learning day. I was like, you know what? I try to make it where it's like, let's go to like a fun coffee shop and you can have a cool environment to like at least do some of your work in. So took her and her friend to a coffee shop, Happy Duo in University Place.
Happy Duo. Is that where the Anthem was?
It used to be Anthem.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, it's one of our favorite places.
It's cool.
It's really fun. They've got great coffee.
It's huge in there. There's a lot of different spaces.
And they do all sorts. They have like open, they have like music nights, and they I don't know, have all sorts of different pastries and things. So
nice. Love a pastry.
I love a good pastry. They have these pork buns.
Oh my gosh.
We go every day, hoping and praying they have them.
Yeah.
And it's like 1 out of 7 visits they have it. I haven't figured it out.
You know what's funny? And not funny. Kind of funny. If I go to a bakery, I really struggle to pick something.
Yeah.
I want everything.
Right.
Like if there's a great bakery and there's 20 options, it's a very, very difficult decision for me. Like I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack when I'm deciding which pastry to get because I want them all. Like I really want to try everything.
You're like, is there a sample?
I wish pastries or bakeries did a sample platter or something. I love pastries.
Yeah.
I went and got donuts this morning for one of our meetings, and there was like all these, like they had these croissants and stuff.
Where'd
too.
You get them
and
from?
this little one in Renton, this little like I don't even know what it's called. It's a little small bakery and or donut shop, and good donuts.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying? What did I just interrupt?
So that was Happy Duo.
I might get more interrupty when I am drinking. That might be a thing.
Distracted. So then Friday Stevie came, which is great. We love
watching her.
She is so cute. She came. What did we do? I think we just hung out at home that day.
How chaotic! Because when we got there to drop Stevie off, it was fairly chaotic with Stella.
Kids over.
Yeah.
This is the thing. That's how Stevie and Stella are. They just like they will play hard and chase each other and go crazy, and then they'll crash for a bit. And then they'll get up and do it. So I'm kind of like, it really doesn't. It's not like to the point where it's like destroying anything. Like it just maybe gets loud for a bit. It's to me, I'm like, it doesn't bother me at all. But we did have. I remember when you guys came. Allie still had a couple friends over. I think we just hung out that night, and then Saturday, Allie went to a winter camp, so we were kind of packing and getting things ready for that. And then when you guys came to get Stevie, I had taken Allie to leave for camp, and then that's when Piper and I went bowling.
Nice.
So there was a group of moms who their husbands had gone on like a guy trip, and they invited Pipes and I to go bowling. So we went to that little Proctor one.
Oh, cool.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Chalet. Yeah.
Tiny little spot.
Isn't it like duck pin bowling? Is it like a normal pins?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was like tiny pins or something.
Yeah.
Are the pins on strings? I might be thinking of something else. It really doesn't matter.
Oceanside.
Maybe.
But either way, I got a strike. So just putting that out there.
Look at that.
I'm not a good bowler, so that was very impressive.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I had a White Claw, no beer.
Did everyone else share a pitcher of beer and you?
Yeah, they did. I was the only one. But I also ordered my drink before other people started getting stuff.
Gotcha.
Like Pipes and I were there a little bit early, so I was like, "Oh, get us." She was hungry.
Okay, so let's say that wasn't the case, and they were ordering the pitcher of beer. Would you still order something separate?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'm not going to suffer through that.
Yeah.
Pretend for a whole glass.
I'm the same way.
I won't do it.
I went to dinner and then we went bowling. At dinner, everyone else ordered a beer. I'm like, I don't want a beer.
No.
I was the last one to order, and everybody else at the table ordered a beer. I'm like, I could just blend in, or I could just be myself.
What did you get?
I got a raspberry margarita.
Okay.
The first special on the list was a margarita, and she said, "Which flavor would you like?" And I'm like, "What do you recommend?" And she said, "I really like the raspberry," so I got the raspberry. Yeah,
great.
It was fine.
I think it would have been hilarious if anybody's like, beer, and then you're like, I'll take, and like have this long list of ingredients cocktail.
And I wouldn't put that past me. for sure. Like I would do that. I stopped caring what my friends think about me a little while ago.
Listen, live your life, you know?
YOLO.
I feel like Saturday was pretty low key. After that, Pipes and I went home. It was just the three of us. I can't even remember what we did. We went for a lot of walks this weekend. I know that.
Love that.
Sunday, Chad and I had a delayed Valentine's Day date.
Nice.
So my parents were kind enough to take Piper. Allie was still at camp. So we went to Cuerno Bravo. Have you guys been there? Okay.
We've talked about it many times, and it's been on my Tacoma list for a while.
Yeah.
Ryan and I very rarely go out to dinner in Tacoma. Like it's not really a thing. Because we're never in Tacoma for dinner time. So it's still on the list.
Okay. We'll have to figure out a time where it's like, if you guys are on your way to stay with your parents or do something.
Yeah.
We end up getting like an early bird dinner. We were there at because Chad went to make a reservation and he's like, the only one is 4:30. It's fine.
And it's Brazilian steakhouse, right? Do they serve the stuff on sticks? No,
they don't do that. It does come on a hot stone. So it's it's a little bit tricky because Chad's like, it continues to cook my steak. Even though I'm like happy with the temperature it came on. So
just gotta eat it really fast.
I know. He was like,
back to fast and slow eating. Brian and I would be fine there, but Chad who eats slow.
No, he was like, I had ordered, there's this it's called the Papa Loca, and it's a giant baked potato, and it comes with steak, and it comes with cheese and green onions, all this yummy stuff. I know. But he was like putting all this steak around the potato, like making a reef around it because it was like cooking on his plate. It's like we could ask for a spare plate. Yeah. It was great. And like so that was Sunday. We got there at 4:30. We had a great meal together. And then we got home. We were like, it's like 6 p.m. Like we still have some daylight out. It was like not bad. We ended up going for a walk, and then we used our hot tub. We've started watching the recent Fargo season.
What are your thoughts?
We're into it.
Yeah.
We're
weird.
into it.
It's weird. For sure weird.
We're like,
which episode are you on? Do you know?
We've gotten pretty far. We're on like episode 6.
Okay.
6, I think.
I love all the Kia product placement in that show. So many Kias.
It's funny.
Kia's like driving on a cloud.
It's so funny. We are a little confused.
Okay.
The one guy who is like, I live here now. Is he?
That's a weird storyline.
500 years ago?
I don't know. I think so.
That's
like the one part of the show where I'm like, I could do without this character.
We just want to know if he's supposed to be 500 years old, or is he supposed to be like possessed from somebody from like that was the weird thing.
I think he's supposed to be like 500 years old.
He is.
I think so. It doesn't really ever fully explain it.
Okay.
But his character is funny. It kind of, there's some funny stuff that happens.
We're like, okay.
Definitely weird. That's the whole character arc is very bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one scene where it's like 500 years ago and they're in the chapel or whatever. I'm like, what is happening right now?
We were both like, are we still watching the same show?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Back to the weekend. So we did like a couple episodes, and then Pipes had a sleepover with my parents. So it was really nice. We love when my parents keep the girls overnight because then we get like the morning to ourselves as well. And just went for like long walks and just, I don't know. It was just really nice. Like just in a good place right now.
Lovely.
And then we picked up Allie from camp, and Pipes got dropped off, and we just kind of went back into the swing of things.
This was Monday?
So this was on Monday.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's a good weekend.
How's my weekend?
Love it.
How about you?
Let's see. So
I'm going to refill while you're talking.
Yeah, please do. So
my goal is going to be to just get Austin totally
You know what's funny you say that?
Fumbling.
I think there might be something about me that people enjoy not making me, but having me drink.
Yeah.
The whole time in Whistler, a lot of times when I'm with my friends, it's everybody's goal, specifically me, to like get me drunk.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe because I'm usually pretty like serious, or I don't know what it is. But
here's my guess. Okay. Because you are so well put together.
Okay.
And like you are very like you're organized, everything's planned. You have that tendency that the assumption is if you were to drink, you would be like so loosey goosey.
Yeah.
So that would be fun.
And there's some truth to that for sure.
You're fun how you are.
Thanks.
I don't want you to hear that. You have to get drunk in order to be fun. But I just wonder if people were like, oh, he's so meticulous with his daily routine.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
That could be it.
Yeah.
Anyway, where was that? Friday night.
Your weekend.
So we
dropped
Stevie off, as you know, because we were going to the Great Wolf Lodge. Mm-hmm. Dream come true.
Who wouldn't?
You know, and like if I were to have won the Super Bowl, and they ask, "What are you gonna do next?" I'm gonna say, "I want to go to Great Wolf Lodge."
Send me.
It was great spending time with family, hanging out with Easton and Finn was great. It was for Finn's birthday,
Right.
and then it was more. I think it was better suited for Easton's age group because he loved all the magic stuff and everything.
Oh, yes.
Not. It was great. I had a great time. I want to be very. I feel like I've talked a lot of talked not negatively but sarcastically about Great Wolf Lodge a lot. And I don't want my mom's feelings to get hurt because like they put together this whole plan for this trip and it was awesome. Is not a place for people in their late 20s, early 30s. Okay. It's a place for people with kids.
Yes.
Like if you have kids, it's an amazing destination because they have so many things for kids and the water park is amazing.
Yeah. Did you do all the water slides?
I did. I think all the water slides. Yeah.
The giant one.
The giant one. That was amazing. That was the best part. Well, okay. I'll give it let me rewind.
You go. Yeah.
Okay. So I get overstimulated in large groups of people. Like if I'm at the mall or I'm even in a grocery store sometimes, or I'm especially in a large crowd. Like if it's, a long line for something. Anytime I'm around a lot of people, I get overstimulated.
Okay.
If you take that and it's a lot of kids, it's like times 10. So,
and I imagine on a 3-day weekend, it was even more
bonkers. Yeah. It was so crazy busy, which I'm like, we should start a place like this because it was like it was amazing how much business they were bringing in.
Right.
But we walked in the doors and immediately it's just like kids everywhere screaming, chaos. Like it's a beautiful building. It's very lodgy, really cool, high ceilings, big fireplace, all that. But yeah, I get overstimulated with large groups, especially large groups of children. Yeah. So definitely learned that about myself. I probably already knew that about myself, but make it worse. Confirm that.
Yeah.
So that was the like part of it that I struggled with. It was just like so many people.
Yeah.
So many kids. But it was really fun hanging out with Easton. There's like this thing called the Magic Quest where you have. Yeah. Have you done it before?
Yes.
Okay. So you have
with
like
the
wand, you can do the whole thing. I'm like, this is actually really impressive what they built here. I think we probably spent about 5 hours on it, and I think we were like 50 to 60% of the way done through it. So we didn't finish it. And so you could have probably spent 10 hours doing this whole Magic Quest thing.
I'm like, did we do that? We must have cheated.
There's a lot to it. There's like all these different. So basically, it's across 5 floors.
Right.
You swing your wand at something, and then it tells you need to go to these 4 floors to gather these different things.
Okay.
And it was like a whole kind of scavenger hunt, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was cool. It was cool to do that with Easton. He loved it. And then so Friday night we pretty much just spent doing that. And then Saturday we did the water park, and definitely a lot of pee in those pools. You're like walking through the water and it's like all the same temperature, and then you just get in this large warm area. I'm just like, and that happened at least 5 times.
Oh,
and
man.
There's such a strong chlorine smell in there. And I know I've heard that the stronger the chlorine smell, like the more pee there likely is or whatever. It was just,
you just knew. You just knew. Yeah.
But the slides are cool. The tornado one where you like are on this 4-person tube and Brian was going backwards down it, which it was fun. And that was cool.
I told you that story. I went with just Allie.
Okay.
And so it's just the 2 of us. And the guy asked, who wants to go backwards? And I pointed to my, at the time, 8-year-old child. Yeah. It's like, she obviously does. The face she made when it dropped, because not only does it go backwards and drop, it drops significantly longer than you expect it to.
And it's a really steep drop.
Oh, yeah. Like I like saw her face and I was like, she's gonna need counseling after this. Like I have traumatized her, and she'll be on a couch one day being like, that time my mom put me back.
Does she ever talk about it?
All the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There's a few things that I've done to my children that come up.
That's funny. I have a few things with my mom, like or both my parents, where it's like if I'm feeling sassy, I'll bring up the ways that they wronged me in my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, Great Wolf Lodge was great family time.
Great.
You know how there's like Disney adults who will go to Disneyland, just a married couple, just the 2 of them without their kids or without kids at all. I don't think there's such thing as Great Wolf Lodge adults. I don't think people are going there without kids. I don't. Right. Yeah. If they are, I have some questions for them.
I'd like to know more.
Yeah. But overall, it was a good time. Got back on Saturday, picked up Stevie, went home, unpacked everything, and then did dinner with friends. I was feeling so exhausted after the Great Wolf Lodge.
Day.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I haven't seen these friends in a while. I need to go out. So I went to dinner, and then I stayed at bowling for like 30 minutes, and then I wanted actually your opinion on something.
Did you get a strike, by the way?
I did not actually even bowl. I was just actually no. You know what? I bowled one round for one. He was like, "You can bowl for me this round." I got a spare. I did not get a strike, but I was happy that I got at least a spare.
I got a strike. I don't know.
Yeah, but out of like my one bowl, I got a spare. How many?
What?
I don't know. Yeah.
Not
good accuracy. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts on what are your thoughts on an Irish exit?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who's the best.
Chatterskin.
Yeah,
I see that.
To the point where I'm like, we are losing friends.
Yeah.
Like he did this to some friends in North Carolina, like an Irish exit of moving out of state.
Oh, wow.
It caused some drama. Well, there was our neighbors, just, they knew, but like, he didn't give an official, this is the last time I'm going to see you. Goodbye. And like the guy wrote us a message and was like, I thought we were close. So.
Oh, wow. That's a little dramatic.
It was intense. All that to say, it stresses me out. Yeah. I feel very like guilty. Chad will do it in a heartbeat. It's his favorite thing. He actually would prefer to always leave that way.
Okay. I was talking to Brian about this.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends on the size group that you're with.
Yeah.
If I'm at a dinner thing with 6 to 8 friends, I will 100% say goodbye to everybody before I leave. If I'm at an event with over 10 people,
that's fair.
I don't feel the need to say goodbye to everybody because I don't want to cause that, like, everyone's doing their thing. I don't want to like create this.
And then how many people you have to go up to?
I know. That is so many hugs. I love giving hugs, but it's like, it's just a lot. And both of our friend groups are big hugger friend groups. So if somebody leaves, everybody's hugging each other the whole time. And it's like, or if you're, and I guess not, but I think I like Irish exits. I think if it's a certain size group. I think
that's a fair way to do it.
So what's the number?
So, well, I'm trying to think because it's got to be for me like over 10.
Okay.
Like anything smaller, I'm like, that's obvious that we've left. Where we do it often is like if it's a banquet or some event, like he has a annual firefighter banquet.
Yeah.
Almost every time we do I'm just gonna go use the bathroom. I gotta grab something out of the car.
Yeah.
I did see something recently. I was just like a little meme headline, I don't know what, but that people save years on their life by doing these Irish exits.
Really?
I'm like, I don't understand how that works.
Yeah.
But apparently it's
years.
not the worst thing. I'm like, saving years of like,
I don't know. That might be a little
those who
extreme.
don't die younger. What? I don't know. But they're promoting it at the end of the day.
I also think it depends on the situation. Like if somebody's hosting it at their home, I feel like you have an obligation to say thank you to them. Yeah. Or I guess you could send them a text.
I wouldn't hate going up to a host if it's a personal residence.
Yeah.
And going up and being like, thank you so much for having me sneak out.
Yeah. Sneak out. That's definitely what I would say.
So did you pull one of these at bowling?
I did. I Irish exit.
How many people?
There were probably 10 to 12 people.
Okay.
Maybe 8 to 10. Probably 10. But I got several texts from friends like, where'd you go? Or like, or more so like teasing me because they knew that I Irish exit and they were like, they wanted to call me out for it. But I was like, oh, I'm in the bathroom.
Dinner didn't sit well.
I just lied. And then they're like, oh, okay, see you soon. I'm like, and I was like, it might be a while.
I love this.
So they definitely knew that I was gone. Okay. I'm just gonna play along.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like everybody. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't do that?
There's definitely people I think that don't.
Really?
I don't know. There's different comfort levels with it for sure. Like there's people like Chad who will just do it on a dime.
His favorite way.
And then
it's actually his only way.
I do like an Irish exit. I think I'm more for it than I am against it.
Yeah.
So that was Saturday night.
Okay.
Sunday, I went skiing with a friend.
Just went skiing?
Yeah, went to Stevens Pass.
Okay.
Have you skied? Have you skied?
So I have skied.
Okay.
I don't regularly now.
Okay.
And it's probably been 20 plus years since I have. Okay. It's been a while.
Yeah. I want to be able to continue skiing as I get older.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been for like 2 years.
Okay.
And I'm like, if I go another year, it's gonna like the longer I wait between times, the more I'm gonna like just stop skiing altogether.
Yeah.
So I went on Sunday and it was great and had a great time. So
good.
Yeah. It was just like riding a bike. Like I was expecting after 2 years of not skiing to like have some warm up time to get back into it. But it felt very natural right away. So that was a good feeling.
Man, I wonder how I'd feel if I tried to ski right now.
20 years is definitely a little different than 2 years.
It's a long time. It's been a long time. In my brain, I'm like, I've done that before. I will, like, it'll be fine if I were to put on skis, and I'd probably be so sore.
I bet after like a run or two, you'd feel confident.
Yeah. Good for you to go in a day. I feel like if you're like, do you want to go skiing tomorrow? I'm like, are we staying in a cabin for days? Like,
that does sound fun. I would love to get a cabin like right next to a ski resort and be able to go up. Because when I was in Whistler, I didn't ski for two reasons. One, it was so expensive. It was like $260, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
And then two, the weather was horrible. So there was like no fresh snow. Like it was really bad ski conditions. Versus this was like less than $100, and it was fresh snow and great ski conditions. So
did you go like early? Is it one of those things you get up early?
I got up at 5 and got to my friend's house around 6:15. Got up to the mountain, and people, I mean, the parking lot was already full by the time we got there, like at 8:30. It was already, or 8 or 8:30. It was already very much filling up. And we got one of the last spots in like the main lot, and then it was gonna go over overflow parking. So skiers are serious. Like skiing since I think COVID began, because skiing has always been like an allowed thing because it's outdoors.
Oh, sure.
It's picked up so much to the point where you have to get a reservation sometimes, or you just have to plan on, like, I've had friends that have gone all the way to Crystal Mountain to get turned away.
No.
They're like, sorry, the mountain's full. We can't let you even park here. So that is, it's a lot of effort.
That would be such a bummer. Okay. So 100%, you could have used that excuse Saturday night. Guys, I have to get up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna head
and I
out.
did. I told one friend that, but I don't know.
Just the one. You're like, can you let everybody else know?
That's actually kind of what I did. I was like,
it's kind of a hectic weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Are you like
I took kind of a chill day Monday. I worked for like a bit on Monday, but I'm trying to think. I think I slept in a little bit. I did a lot of errands. I did laundry, and
because you weren't home all weekend.
Yeah. But I mean, it still wasn't real. I went to Costco and I went to Safeway, and I did a lot of errands and stuff just to kind of like get my life back in order.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking at my calendar for the next month.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have any set plans any weekend in March, and I'm very excited about it. It's potentially the first month in a very long time that I have no weekend plans, and I'm very excited.
Wow.
Once we hit April through the end of the year, there's a lot of stuff already brewing. So
that's amazing.
I was thinking about the whole, my whole stance on winter time in Washington, and we've had many conversations about this, but I am really actually enjoying this winter season in that there's just more time to just chill, like less pressure to do things, and I'm excited for some chill weekends coming up.
Okay, so
it'll be less content for the podcast.
but what you do this weekend?
I slept in and walked the dog, and that's it.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I feel like that's my weekend. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so how has your challenge been going for February, the 2-1?
Yeah,
are you still being consistent with that?
So I've done for the last, I think 2021 is when I started these monthly challenges. So a few years ago, there's very few months that I've like failed at, like where I've actually, because usually I'm pretty disciplined. I will stick with the habit that I want to form for that month pretty well. This month has been a little bit of a slippery slope. Because I had the bachelor party in Whistler, where so my challenge has been 2 hours before bed I stop eating. 1 hour before bed I do no screen time.
Right.
Both of those were very hard in Whistler, so we would do like pizza at the end of the night. We'd go get slices of pizza, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say no to that.
Right.
Like I should, but I'm not going to. So and then screen time, it's like when I'm at home in my daily routine, it's a lot easier to follow that screen time one. Even the eating one, but when I'm out of town, it's definitely a lot harder. So I think probably we're like 2/3 of the way through February. I bet, I don't know, 16 out of 21 days I followed it, and the other ones I've kind of been like, whatever. And I do on the days that I've stuck with it, I think it works well. I think not doing screen time an hour before bed is great. I've been
Do you feel like you
reading
sleep better at all? Have you noticed
I
that?
generally sleep pretty well.
Okay. You're like, not an issue.
No, I was kind of, my mom's license plate is Love to ZZZ, and I inherited, I'm blessed with the gift of sleep.
Love to
I can sleep forever.
Yeah.
I could literally I was talking to a friend the other day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't use an alarm clock. I just wake up naturally around 6 every morning and start the day." I'm like, I haven't not set an alarm in a very long time. If I don't set an alarm, I'll just continue sleeping for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Stevie will be the one that wakes me up.
Sure.
But
Okay.
if I'm just on my own, I can sleep forever.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then tell us, how are you doing? There was a physical challenge you were working towards.
Okay.
Something.
Seattle to Portland bike ride.
There was that. There was another Mitsubishi. What was that? I called it a sushi restaurant. You called it a name.
What are you talking about?
It was like, it had like an Asian name to it. And it was like,
oh. That you talking about Ikigai?
No. It was like a physical challenge.
Was this Chad?
The other Enneagram 3 in my life. No, it was something.
I don't know what else.
You call it like Miyabi or
Misabi. I actually don't know anything about this, but the reason when I talked to you about it, I think I had just seen my friend post about this.
Yeah.
And that's what I think was top of mind. So I think it's called a Misabi. That's not right. It's some Japanese word that the idea behind it is you have one big physical challenge per year that you're working towards.
That's ringing a bell.
So for me,
it's
this year is the Seattle to Portland bike ride. So last year was that Ironman. Year before that was Mount Rainier and the marathon. So this year is the Seattle to Portland bike ride.
Okay.
So yes, I have done zero training for that.
We've got
it is I want to say end of June. Okay. So it is horrible bike riding weather right now. Like, because I usually when I start training, I'll do probably like after work quick bike rides and then weekend long bike rides is the plan. So after work, it's usually dark out right now. I don't do. I'm a fair weather biker for sure. I will not bike in the dark. I will not bike in the rain.
Yeah.
I've had a few bike rides where it like a mid bike ride and it starts raining and it's just miserable because the roads are more slippery and I've like had some kind of close calls and visibility's worse and cars can't see bikers as easily. So just from a safety perspective, I will not bike in the rain. So come probably, I don't know, as soon as weather starts getting better, I'll start doing some longer bike rides. But I feel so if it's end of June, I feel like 2 to 3 months of really solid training will be good.
Okay.
And
plenty of time.
Also, like I know that I can do it. I'm not looking for like a certain time or anything. I just want to finish it. So,
So are you feeling pretty good about not I know you've been hitting the gym.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I have that to look
jacked. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
What's happening? You trying to compete with Brian? You're like,
so
let's just work on upper body.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Last year I did the Ironman and it was all cardio. Like Ironman is literally biking, running, swimming. Yeah. So some of those obviously like build some muscle, but I lost a lot of weight doing that. Like today I weighed like probably 15 pounds more than I did at the peak of my Ironman training.
Same.
So, which I've always like growing up, I always like weight has been a hard thing for me to wrestle with actually. Yeah. Growing up, I was a chubby kid and I always struggled with my weight. And so the number on the scale was always really important to me. And so when in junior of high school, I lost, I think 40 pounds. I went from 170 to 130. Yeah. And since then, weight has always been something that I'm like aware of. Okay. And it's interesting. I weigh about 170 right now. Yeah. So I weigh the same amount today as I did when I started losing weight in high school. I look very different. Like when I was losing weight then, I had very little muscle and I was, I was very chubby and very insecure about how I looked as a high schooler. Yeah. It's been hard for me because I've gained 15 pounds in the last probably 4 or 5 months. Yeah. But I feel fine. I feel like I still like how I look. Right. So weight's been a hard thing for me to like. I'm tempted to not even weigh myself.
I was gonna say, especially if you're lifting. Yeah. Because muscle isn't muscle heavier?
That's what they say.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. So I was kind of the opposite. I as a young kid, my metabolism was crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'm half Japanese. It's just like tiny my entire life. And then I had kids and I hit 40 and I was like, that's not the case. I did have a conversation with a lady at that Chinese New Year we had a couple weeks ago. And she was like talking about having conversation with her doctor and be like, I just can't keep the weight off. And her doctor made this comment about like, like in a kind way, was like, this topic is so boring. This idea of like having to be skinny and women having this idea of like, oh, I just want to be like, we're so inundated, especially as women. I don't know for guys, but as women, this like tiny toothpick thin person is like the ideal thing you want to, aim for.
Right.
And it was kind of encouraging that her doctor was like, it's just boring.
That's
like,
such a funny thing for a doctor to say.
Yeah, I think she said it in a really nice way of just like, I'm just bored of women coming to me and being like, how can I get skinny or whatever. But it is, and I've talked to multiple friends who are like, we're getting up in years and it just gets harder to maintain, whatever. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing. We all struggle.
Everybody struggles with it. I think 100% of people on the planet, like, I don't think there's an exception. Like everybody like struggles with how they look and their weight, and just like nobody ever feels, I mean, maybe there's a few exceptions, but like pretty much everybody out there.
Chad might be the one exception who's like, fine, no.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is everybody has probably things about themselves that they'd like to change.
Totally.
And like would like to improve.
Yeah.
I'm content with how I look right now.
That's great.
I know I could have more shredded abs, or I could have whatever, but like I'm fine. Like I'm the only person I'm trying to impress is myself. And like I want to be proud of myself. And I know that I feel better when I'm active. Like when I hit my 10,000 steps every day, when I do something to move my body every day. That's when I'm happiest. And like and if I do those things, I know that I will feel probably good about how I look. And like this weekend I ate crap. Like literally Saturday we had, like, pretty much all weekend I ate whatever I wanted. I had a lot of pizza, I had McDonald's, I had a milkshake, I had all this stuff. And it's like, and then starting Monday or Tuesday, I just ate healthy for the last few days, and it's just balance. And
like you said earlier, the moderation piece. I am funny where I'll see something, I'll be like, I need to try that. So like right now, this week, I'm really trying to up my protein.
Okay.
It's such a silly thing. Apparently there's a thing as like for women in general, we get way less protein than we're supposed to. It's like a hot topic. Everybody is like, more protein. And so I tried. I was like, because I usually don't do breakfast. I'm like, I'm going to try to have like 30 grams of protein in this meal. And it was almost a full cup of yogurt. And then I mixed in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter.
Okay.
And then I had a hard-boiled egg on top of that. And I was like...
Okay, who told you? Was this a Chad suggestion?
It's Instagram. Okay. And Chad does...
No, I'm saying the specific thing, the specific
Oh, it was what I had in my house.
Okay,
I was like, what do I have that that has protein? How can I get to 30 grams with these items? And so I did that.
Are you doing the 30-30-30 thing?
No, because I can't. So here's my thing. When I wake up, I could try it. I could try to wake up and have that. It is very hard for me to finish a meal when I've just woken up. Even today, I was up at like 6:15. I didn't eat until like after 7, and Chad was kind enough to make me a plate of eggs and a smoothie to get the 30 grams in today. And like the eggs, I was like I was trying so hard to get the last bite in. It's so much food.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could do a powder or another, a different shake.
Have you ever done a Fairlife shake?
We have something in our...
They sell them at Costco. It's a 30-gram protein shake. They're great. I do them every morning.
Just that by itself.
I'll usually... So for a while I was subscribing to the 30-30-30-30 thing, which we talked about. I remember. And so I was... With that, you're supposed to have 30 grams of protein within the first 30 minutes of waking up. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like eating or consuming calories when I wake up. Like I just don't like it.
I know.
So usually but I do think it's important to eat after working out. I prefer working out fasted. Like if I eat before workout, I'm like burping up the food the entire time working out, which I don't like doing that. Yeah. So I'll wake up, I'll work out first thing, and then I'll have the protein shake right after that. So that's an easy way to get 30 grams of protein. Yeah. Like it's this tiny little bottle and it tastes good, and so it could be a good option. But.
Yeah,
and I don't think protein's a fad either. Like there's definitely I think some like tried and true principles of a healthy lifestyle, and one of those is like a protein rich diet. Yeah. So I think that's a good
Yeah.
I don't think that's one of there's definitely some fads.
They're saying bread is the key.
Yeah.
You're like, no, don't listen to them. No,
but
I know.
Carbs are important though. Like that's so many people are like, oh, and I know Chad for a while was very on the and talking about Chad. Sorry, we love you, Chad. I just want to make sure we're not talking crap about Chad.
Yeah. I do have a funny story about him though.
Oh, do you?
And I got his permission before I brought it up. Okay, let's just jump into it now that we've made that smooth transition. So I started watching Love is Blind. There's a new season. Highly recommend it.
I've seen a lot of TikToks about it, and I'm just like, there's so many shows on my TV show list.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I want to.
I don't know if I want to prioritize it at this point.
Yeah, I'll just tell it to you.
Please.
So the whole premise is they're in these pods and they're dating each other, and to me, it's like such a fascinating like concept that you are truly falling for somebody based on the conversations you're having. And so I was watching a little bit of that over the weekend, and there's one character who like starts off being almost rude. Like he like walked out of the pod on some girls. Yeah. They're like mid conversation. He's just like, I'm over this.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think it's probably the guy that I've seen all the TikToks
He's
about.
huge. His name's Matt.
Okay.
Well, it turns out Matt then starts talking to two girls.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Matt made the poor choice of telling the girls almost the exact same thing.
Oh, wow.
Which was like, I want to leave here with you. Wow. I'm going to ask your parent for your hand in marriage. Like very similar things. And so it didn't go well for Matt. What's funny is Chad Erskine kind of did the same thing when we first started.
To you and somebody else?
To me and my roommate. And I
oh, that's right, the roommate.
My roommate.
Yeah,
so,
we talked about this last time.
Did I
How's
tell
she
you?
doing? Your former
she's
roommate?
happily married. So this is the thing. I mean, I'm guessing happily. I don't talk to her too much. But so the reason I would hang out with her and Chad is because she had an on again, off again boyfriend who they're now married to. So at the time, she's like, oh, do you mind? Like, can he come over? Can we all go out? So it's not weird that I'm like just with him. I'm like, yeah, totally. And then Chad and I hit it off. Well, one of the times she goes on a trip and Chad and I have like a whole week together. And we like, I mean, my best friend, Natalie, who I went to high school with, was also visiting at the time. So she witnessed everything. And the end of the week, my roommate Betsy comes home, and when she gets back, I'm like, I'm just going to confess to her. I'm going to tell her I've fallen for Chad. Here's all these, great things that happened. And I went to read her an email that he wrote me where he stated I checked all of his boxes. He felt 100% himself around me. Just these very kind words that I was like, this is it. This is it. So Betsy and I just have such a clear memory where I'm like, Betsy, I just need you to know while you were gone, I hung out with Chad a lot and things like have progressed. And I want you to know it's pretty serious. And I'm just going to show you. I'm going to read you this email. And so I start to read it and she stops me and she goes and she gets her computer. And then she comes back and she starts reading me a very similar email from Chad to her.
From when?
From before. From
okay.
Okay. And so I close my computer. Keep drinking. No. I close my computer and I go, all right, I've been bamboozled.
Yeah.
I've been
This is
played.
like what's the movie? John Tucker Must Die, where he like plays have you seen that movie?
Yes.
He like plays three girls.
Okay.
But it's similar. Anyway,
yeah, that's how I felt.
Chad Erskine Must Die.
I called Natalie. I called Natalie who witnessed everything. And I was like, you're never going to guess this. Like, we have been tricked.
Yeah.
And she was adamant. She's like, there's no way. She's like, there's no way that was fake. Obviously, I called Chad. And he, bless his heart, he's like, I don't have, like, lines to, like, multiple lines that I say to girls. If I like somebody, I tell them the same thing. Like, it's like, you check all my boxes. I feel myself. Like, that's what I say when I like somebody. So he was trying to be like, I wasn't at all trying to play you. I just don't know how to flirt. I don't know how to say I actually really like you aside from these things. Yeah. So he was like totally just fine. But I was like, no, sir.
That is so funny.
Tricked us.
How long did it take him or you how long did it take him to earn back your trust?
It took a couple of weeks. Like it was
couple hours.
It took that one phone call for him to say, I don't have line. There was definitely some like kind of groveling, but also Natalie like really tried to mediate for us. She was like, I saw firsthand what was real. Yeah. And she's like, he cannot be that good of an actor. Like there's just no way that was false. And he just kept showing up. And I think I shared in the last one where he talked about us and, initially dating. There would be things that I like had questions about or doubted. And like, he would bring it up before I even asked him. It was weird. It was like, so anyways, and here we are, however many years
Good thing
later.
you gave them the benefit of the doubt. Like it would have been very easy probably to be like, oh, F that guy. Like,
could you imagine?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. I would not be here.
I cannot imagine because there would be something would be happening right
now. Yeah. Crazy. But I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy Matt is pulling a Chad Erskine right now.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Matt. Well, I know what happens now, so I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, I'm actually
I'll
not
watch
sure.
it if I'm looking for some like. Well, okay, so I'm on This Is Us right now. Have you watched that?
No,
okay.
I told you I refused to because I don't want to cry every episode.
And it's not. I was also told that I would cry every episode. I'm an emotional guy. I'm in touch with my feelings.
Sure.
And I've cried maybe one every 7 episodes.
Oh,
so not as much as people thought I would, or people said I would.
Yeah.
Similarly, something a very similar situation where a girl had kind of 2 guys she was talking to at the same time, and then end up picking one of them. So definitely a thing.
It's hard. It doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not the right path, but it ended up working out.
I know. Here we are.
Betsy's happily married. I'm happily married. Hopefully Chad would say the same.
Are you still friends with Olivia? I'm sorry. Natalie. Where did Olivia come from?
I don't know, but that's fine. Yes. Okay. So good. Natalie I knew in high school.
Cool.
And then she moved to Vegas when I went to college. So she was visiting me from Vegas while Chad and I had this little romantic rendezvous.
Yeah.
And then what's crazy is my parents moved to North Carolina. Her parents moved to South Carolina, just a few hours from us. So she ended up, and actually Chad had a big hand in this. When I moved to North Carolina, he convinced Natalie to come. He was like, listen, your family's here, your best friend's here. Yeah. Why are you spending your life in Vegas where, you're not? And so she moved out there, was like my maid of honor in my wedding.
Nice.
So yeah, still
great. I'm going to earmark this. We got to talk about your wedding next time.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear about it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, I couldn't be there. I would have loved to have been there.
Do you know what I actually think? We will come back to this, but I actually think people need to redo vows or something later on. I would love to do that because if I knew now what I was signing up for, I would still choose it 100%.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that we've withstood some storms that we've gone through.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is way easier. Not way easier. It's way easier back then to say, yeah, I do. And then to actually come 15, 16 years later and be like, still do.
I love the idea of renewing your vows because I feel like the people in your life change and people are here for a season and then come and go or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, like my parents' wedding, there's people that were there that aren't in their lives anymore. And it'd be cool to do something with the people that are in your lives today. So,
yeah. Okay.
Any loose ends we need to tie up before we wrap up here?
I mean, I was really curious about like your physical goals and just your monthly challenge.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of answered those.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
I think
you were, so like, are you saying like maybe you won't do a monthly challenge every month when you were like, I started this in 2021, kind of not sure, or do you?
I'm not going to force it. Okay. I think that's my plan. Like if I'm getting to February 28th, 29th, and I'm like, man, I just cannot think of a challenge for next month that excites me.
Sure.
I won't do anything. Like I don't feel the need to do a challenge every month.
Yeah.
But I already know for March, I am going to do Japanese every day.
Oh.
Because, or on Duolingo.
Like,
because.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, food? What? Yeah.
I'm going to practice Japanese every day on Duolingo because we're going to Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a few months I already have
to learn from you.
Kind of planned a little bit. Yeah. I'll start to use some words.
Okay.
We'll have this Japanese word of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had a thought in my head and then it left my brain. Oh, last question. Have you heard from the show? We haven't heard anything yet.
It's like the FBI. Like once you apply, if you get to the final rounds, you can't say anything, right?
So you can't say either way. You wouldn't be able to. If I said, "Have you heard from them?" What's it called? Why am I blanking?
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race.
Yeah. I'm gonna like leave some suspense here. Like there's some chance. Like there's nothing. We have not heard anything. Right. No, I am hoping that there's still something coming, but it's been a few weeks now since we applied. So we're just going to keep applying every year.
I feel like that's the thing.
Every season we're going to apply and we're going to, one of these days we'll go on the Amazing Race because I think we'd be great.
Okay.
$1 million.
I mean, how great would that be?
We were saying the other day, actually, and it made us both feel very grateful for our lives as we were saying, we were like, hypothesizing, is that a word? We were like, if we were to win the Amazing Race, we were to win $1 million, like what would we do with it?
Right.
And we're like,
yeah.
Like there's nothing that immediately came to mind that we like need. Like we're very content with our home and our lives, and we're like, maybe we'd go on a really nice trip somewhere. Like most likely we'd save a lot of it. We might donate some of it, but like not a whole lot about our lives would change from where we are today. And that was like, wow, we are so blessed. And like there's like $1 million obviously would be great. If somebody, I would not turn that down. Like I would love to have the safety net that comes along with that.
Totally.
But it's like in our daily lives, like, would we really change that much? And we're like, not really. Like, we're pretty.
That's great.
Very blessed.
Yeah,
so.
love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, cheers to 21
Cheers.
episodes.
We did it.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm feeling great.
21.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.